This golfer has improved every facet of his game, his handicap soaring down from 14 all the way to
6.
How you doing, Brett?
I'm really good, are you?
I'm not very good because I've lost a mid-handicap golfer now and it's only been about 6 months. You know I'm sunburnt as well, so that's painful.
I did forget again.
But
sorry.
guys, today we're going to talk through exactly how Brett's done it with every single club in his bag, all the different areas of golf that we know are so difficult. We're going to talk stats from the 18 Birdies app and see just how Brett's turned himself from a mid-handicap golfer to looking like trying to shoot that elusive level or even under par in the coming years.
Yep.
So Brett, we'll kick off with on the driving range here at the Sultan course at PGA Antalya, so huge thanks for hosting us. But there's a certain number of clubs in this bag which have transformed Brett's game. Now, we're going to say huge thanks to PXG for that as well, because the fitting process and everything was fantastic, but we'll put your kind of greens in regs stats on screen now using the 18 Birdies app, and the vast improvement there is quite ridiculous. So just here's a couple of shots, Brett, and we'll talk through exactly what is done in that kind of middle bag area. Then we'll talk about the woods, we'll talk about short game, we'll talk about even putting and how that obviously can help your scores massively. So go on, I'll let you clip a few, Brett, and then we'll kind of move away from that. So what's initially changed in this kind of mid-iron setup?
We've sort of worked a lot on ball striking, haven't we? Ball position, ball striking.
Yeah.
And then also having that weight sort of shifting forward rather than sort of rocking back and trying to hit under it. And it's become really consistent, I think.
I must admit, and we will have quite a few snippets in this video, Bobby. Oh, that's nice, mate. Of you hitting some shots, because you're a different golfer.
Yeah,
so
completely.
I used to challenge Brett to matches because I knew I'd win. I hold my hands up, very similar to what we do with Gaz. But now you actually hold your own quite a lot, don't you?
Yeah.
So it shows that if something's going to work, it has to work under pressure. And I think by using the 18 Birdies app, not only on the Apple Watch, which I think has given it another dimension of ease of use, but also getting into the stats, delving into them, actually looking at greens in regs, looking at distance control, looking at everything else. Yeah. So distance control is huge.
We've spent time on different sections throughout this 6 months, haven't we?
Yeah.
Where like we've looked at 18 birdies and gone, actually now that's improved, but we can see a weakness in a different section.
Yeah, but then it's also making sure that the improvement doesn't drop to a weakness when the weakness
I agree.
comes to improve. Right, let's hit some shots because people will be keen to see you hit some shots. So we'll trace you these as well and see just where they go. We'll aim for that 230 marker.
Yeah.
Lovely. And you see, it's an interesting one because ball striking was always the issue. It was always the kind of, I don't know, the thing, just elephant in the room, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas Brett never really hit it right or left. It was always pretty straight, but it was always more front to back. So obviously by having a full fitted set of nice forgiving clubs, that has helped a little bit. And whenever we do test other clubs, I feel like now you have the confidence more. So whether or not he needs the forgiveness these have anymore, we'll see as that moves on. But certainly with the irons, I think it's a massive improvement in that strike. Shows another one. Very good. And one more. Because interesting, what used to happen with Brett, he used to swing, and I'm going to kind of delve into what Brett used to do to help you guys to potentially improve. So it used to be a case of kind of slide off the ball here, stay behind it with your sternum, and then try and flick at it that way. Whereas now we're working really heavily on rotating into that right side, allowing the rotation of the left hip. That means the handle can get forward, the shaft lean's nice and progressive, and from there you de-lofting the club a little bit, but you're also getting that lovely strike with those divots as well. So how do you feel about that?
Confident.
Yeah.
I think that's the best word to talk about, is confidence. That rather than it going to being 3,000 thoughts in my head to start with, what I need to do, where I need to be, now it's just go through my routine, and 90% of the time it's a good strike and finishes where you want it to finish.
Shows another. Oh, that's majestic. That's really good.
That was the best one out of the three.
And it's an interesting one because using that 18 Birdies app, and I keep mentioning this because they have been so helpful for myself as Brett's coach and Brett being the player, not only do you have obviously all the stats and the feedback, so we could quite quickly gauge that it was distance control that was Brett's problem. Me being the coach understands that that's either going to be club selection or it's going to be quality of strike. It was actually both. Because if you struggle with quality of strike, you don't have the consistency to select the right club. But also by having the ability to have that AI caddy. So whenever we're playing golf, obviously the AI caddy, you can't do it in tournaments, but generally when we're playing, picks a club for you.
Yeah, yeah.
So, oh, I can hit that far, and then it'll actually leave me that far. We'll put that on screen so you can see it.
It's a different thought process now on every hole, and even like you said, when I do play in a competition, wherever it be, club, or when we do something, the thought process in every hole, there is a thought process now, rather than just picking driver out if you see a fairway and think I can reach with driver. Sometimes you're planning that third shot, aren't you?
But actually, if we come close and look at this bag now, also guys, there's no Bobby today. We've got a very special guest behind the camera, so we'll put him on screen now. Bobby, how's he doing? Guys, comment below if Martin's doing very, very well. But there's a couple of clubs in here which, one of them was a bit of a panic situation, wasn't it? So Brett's obviously a huge fan of his PXG stuff. He did get the Secret Weapon mini driver because he knew that the biggest round of his life was coming up and he wasn't too sure with driver. But we actually changed a few things within his driver setup, and honestly, it pains me to say this, I've never seen anybody hit driver as consistently as you've been doing the last few weeks and months.
Yeah.
So here's a couple with the mini driver, because this is just a nice fun club to hit, to be honest. But a couple of the things that we have changed in Brett's setup is, first of all, the ball position was too far back, so we've snuck that forward just a little bit, and then by keeping the sternum more behind, so totally opposite of what we've done with irons, the sternum's behind with driver, we're allowing that just to launch a little bit more with low spin, and the face isn't rotating as much, so it's quite a nice. You had something to add with driver, didn't you? You said you've changed something else. Just
that little bit, and it's mainly from watching you a little bit, is that front foot, and it's helped me carry on turning, whereas I was very much straight.
Yeah.
And I've tried to hit forward, and then that little drill that we did where it's dragged the ball, the club head along the grass as long as possible, has stopped me getting steep, which caused them sky marks like we know on the Cobra and things like that.
There's none on this one.
There's none on that one.
Interestingly, none of these are huge changes. If anyone's at home, maybe stuck at, you think you've plateaued with your handicap and you can't quite get any better, it's been a 6-month period of a very holistic approach where we look at the different segments of the game and just try and tweak them and get them a little bit better. It's been fantastic. It's been a really, really good, it's been a nice experience for me to see someone put the effort in, but it's been a really, really positive, progressive move. Show us a mini driver, then we'll hit some full drivers. Still go at the 230, yeah?
Yeah.
Lovely. Lovely. And that's what you want from that shot. He's nearly hit the 230 marker there. That is what you want from that kind of club. You want it just to be that nice, forgiving mover, isn't it?
Just a stock shot.
Yeah. It's interesting with driver though, because we've actually developed like a nice just stock draw.
Yeah.
Whereas with that, you do hit that kind of heely one, but you know it's going to be in play. Show us some drivers, because the driver fitting I thought was really, really good. We've got a couple of different weight setups in there for Brett. And since he has developed that a little bit better, we actually went back to PXG, which you can do after a kind of 6-month trial, just to make sure everything's in the right place if you have been working on your game. So a bit of a kind of a checkup, bag checkup.
Yeah, bag check,
Right.
And it is worth doing, definitely.
I think so, yeah, definitely. Just to make sure everything's right. You can't obviously change the head or the shaft or anything, but you can change the way it's set up. So do you see yourself in a bit of a routine here? Because the routine, I say the routine was awful, it wasn't, there just wasn't one.
No, there weren't one, were they? We'd just stand up a practice swing and let's hit it. And it's recently we've been with Nico, haven't we? And again, I went to just thinking about what we've worked on, sternum, back. But then something Nico said is you hit it really well, Brett, and you're probably aiming in the position you want to aim in, but you hit it to a different spot. And he just got me standing back behind the ball, pick your target and feel like you're going to then hit it at that target. And it is something then that stepped it up another gear in that consistency and hitting that spot you want to hit to. And I think when we look back to Arizona, we got a caddy on the bag and he's saying, hit that cactus in the distance.
You were doing.
And I were hitting that cactus, weren't I?
And the interesting, you look at the stats as well. And again, I come back to the stats because I'm a stats guy. We wouldn't have been able to reduce Brett's handicap like we have done without having the stats available and without utilising them. So thank you very much, 18 birdies for that.
Yes, I agree.
But also, if you don't, we look at what's on screen now, not only are you hitting more fairways, but you're probably hitting it 20 yards further.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed when we play, you're only 40 yards behind me now, not 60.
I beg to differ.
You can save improvement, I'm not letting you have that.
I beg to differ.
Right, come on. So where's your finish line?
The finish line, let's say the 230 again, and that's what I've gone for. That's my pick.
Lovely.
Just cut off it slightly.
And the funny thing is, the bad one used to be probably 30 yards right of that.
Yeah, and we've still got a shot into the green there, haven't we?
And this is the thing, I think if you can, allow yourself to improve the bad shot massively, you're always going to lower your scores. You're always going to lower scores. You're probably going to enjoy your golf more, and wait till we get to the kind of short game aspect of this video, because that's where we're saving loads of shots.
Massive.
Realistically, loads of shots.
Massive.
There's the one. Very good. Very good. Guys, I hope you're enjoying this video so far. If you are, smash that subscribe button below. I will link 18 Birdies below, funnily enough, because I think they have been such a huge help. And if you are working with a coach, or even if you're not, it does help to narrow down what you want to work on. So, right, we'll go and jump on the short game, because this used to be hilarious. We might still have a bit of fun, but it won't be as fun as it used to be. Right, so now we talk about the short game aspect of this video, and like I said, it used to be hilarious. I didn't find it funny because we're friends.
You did find it funny.
But you can see we're actually doing this video on the practice facilities as well here at the Sultan course, because this is where we've done the work.
It is, yeah.
We find ourselves doing so many videos on the golf course, on tee boxes, because it looks pretty and on proper greens, but this is where the truth is in the dirt, isn't it? The truth is where you're going to practice. So let's have a look at a few different shots here. So what I want to look at is how Brett's managed to start gauging different lies. If we look at, again, those stats on screen, and you look at where Brett was missing shots, because your short game generally is only as good as where you're missing the shots. And I think it's a massive backward chain method where actually you start hitting more fairways, you're going to start hitting more greens, so you're probably not going to practice your short game as much. Your short game could get worse. Yeah. But we've actually kind of done really, really well with it. So let's have a look at some different lies here, and we've got some different clubs out, because club selection is huge around the greens. And I actually became stuck where I was trying to get Brett into a more bouncy wedge. With a bit more bounce on it and camber on it. But actually we spoke to Nico out in Scottsdale, and it was more just, I'm going to let you explain it, Brett, because I believe that if you can explain something, you know it properly yourself.
I agree. Nico literally just simplified everything, didn't he, for us? You were talking to him, we went for a little look round actually and dropped on Nico at PXG, and
there you go.
Yeah, Brett.
There you go.
Look at the spin on that.
We were asking if we'd got a wedge with a lot of bounce on, just to see if it could help me in that round in Arizona, and Nico said, I don't think you need that. And he took us out, and he just simplified it down to basically a putter swing. And I'm going to quote him here, and it's exactly what stays in my mind, is about getting this C7 forward, and he worked a lot on this neck, just forward, and he still then wanted me to lean forward as I took it back. And
so it's almost a bump forward, isn't it?
And it would just help that strike, and that's all it's done, and it's just...
It's staggering, to be honest, because I've spent 20 years trying to get Brett to do this, but somebody... So when we speak about Nico, we speak about Mike Nicolette, who works with PXG. He's one of the PXG founding designers, isn't he?
Yeah.
But he actually won at Bay Hill in 1987, I think.
Yeah.
So PGA Tour winner, first of all, fantastic bloke, but also a great golfer. And just by the way he explained it to you was really, really simple, wasn't it? So for lies like this, obviously, maybe a little bit more loft, just pop it up. And then as you get to the shorter stuff where Brett would traditionally struggle, just make sure you're shallowing that club out. Yeah. So let's play to a few different flags, because...
We'll go to this one first.
Yeah, there's a fairly simple one here, then there's quite a difficult one up to the left, which I want to gauge. Nice. And the key here with that, you might think that's an average shot, and it is, but actually you look at where that's finished and you look at just how the strike was. If that's your bad, then you're pretty good. Yeah. And if your bad's like there or there, then you're not going to do so well.
That first clip that you shared so often at the beginning of the series of his first ever round.
It'll be in this video, don't worry about that. We'll knock that divot back down.
It's gone from that to that, and that to me is a massive improvement. I've actually got.
But that's still a bad one, so try showing us a nice one. And the key's always been keeping the speed up as well. There we go. That wasn't in the locker before. No. And there's been quite a few shots where Brett's played in the matches we've had, and the shot just wasn't in the locker, but it actually is now. Let's go to a harder one. Let's go a bit further up to that left-hand side, and then we're going to go off the shorter stuff, which lots of people struggle with. Funnily enough, so when you're on the app and you're looking at your stats, not only are you looking at your up and down success ratio, but we're looking at what club you've used. So if you have a club in your bag that you think's your favourite club, that's not always the case, and you might either have to give it some TLC, spend some more time on it, or potentially you might just think, right, that club actually isn't my best performing club. And we did have that a bit. I think you using more lofts miles better.
Loads better.
You used to always use low lofted clubs, But I think when Brett has more loft in his hands, he's a lot more attacking,
Yeah.
and he keeps that kind of forward momentum. That, for him, is key. So generally, you do play better with the high lofted shots. Nice.
A little bit too far though, but again.
It's a difficult shot though,
Yeah.
like if we look at the landing area, if we go off the short stuff now as well to this, I'm really trying to make this difficult so you guys can see the kind of improvement, but we're looking off the short stuff now, and all it is now picking that landing angle. Obviously Brett's still off 6, he's still got a way to go if he wants to get down to, dare I say, scratch. I don't think that is the key. I think the goal is just to try and enjoy the golf more and shoot the numbers, but realistically, if you can master these shots, if you can understand how a wedge works and how you can just kind of pop a ball up in the air just by utilising the bounce even with one hand, then you can start to look at your landing area, then you can start to look at how the ball will release, then you can start to shoot those really, really low numbers.
I agree.
Because the low numbers are all about the short game.
Yeah.
You can hit a driver off the tee all day and still shoot 80.
Yeah. Same flag?
Yep.
Try to hit that one a little bit lower probably, and it's probably not the right.
Yeah. Interesting though, we can still see that although it's better, still potentially a bit of a chink in the armour.
Yeah. There he is. There he is. Right, mate, come on.
Good. Really good. And that's why, to be honest, guys, we do leave these bad shots in these videos, especially, well, not especially, we leave them all in, but this is where I want you to have the wounds now. I don't want the wounds out on the golf course. Everyone has those kind of war wounds of, oh, I remember doing that, remember doing that. This is where you do it. This is where you play, you have some fun, you experiment. Then out on the golf course, you always know what shot you're going to play, and potentially the arsenal might get bigger, but if it doesn't, you've still got a couple of shots to go at. Now, one of the big things that we've changed as well, if we look at the stats on putting, is lack of 3-putts. We don't 3-putt anywhere near as much as Brett used to, so let's go and talk quickly how we've managed that, and hopefully that can help you lower your scores. So when it comes to putting is often referred to as a game within a game, and I refer you once again to the stats because I think one round you had like 40 putts.
Yeah.
Which is, it's a lot. If you're going to shoot 80, you're not going to have 40 putts. You're probably in the 90s there, aren't you? But let's have a look at just how you've managed it. So one of the big changes we made straight away was putting Brett into a zero torque putter. So that allows that club face just to stay squarer to the arc a lot more throughout the swing, and then we're not worrying too much about that start line, because that you were using a Scotty Cameron blade, which is a beautiful putter. I love Scotty Cameron blades. I think they're fantastic. But horse and carts are all right as well, aren't they?
I think technology's just moving on now a little bit.
Definitely. I think technology's moved on. So we've got the PXG bat attack here, and it's worked really, really well. Started with the Allen, moved into the bat attack just because it looks that little bit, well, I'm speaking for you here, but...
You're right, though. You're exactly right. It just felt a little bit better.
Yeah.
Distance control with this just seems that little bit better for me.
And one of the drills we've looked at for distance control is now Brett's not particularly worried about that kind of club face open or closing. He knows exactly what we're doing here. We've just worked on that kind of ladder drill, and it's something that I actually do with junior golfers just to help gauge distance. But realistically, it's a really, really good drill, not only to warm up on the golf course and get the pace of the greens, which we never do, unfortunately, but it's a really good drill of just gauging how far back that putter needs to move for the distance. So all we're going to work on, and it's something we've done so often, is right, how far back does the putter need to go? And from there, it's a gentle acceleration using the weight of the putter. It's not short and spiky, which it used to be. It's a nice elongated swing, and then we're using gravity just to allow it to work. So anything between the hole and the flag is a pretty good attempt. Then one of the big things, I think, is green reading as well. So we've worked on that quite a lot. Brett actually came from an aim point class with me about 10, 15 years ago. But even now, just understanding, very good, how the ball's going to move, where it's going to break to, and how that affects speed control, it's a massive element, and it's helped him hugely to lower those scores. Look at this now.
Ooh.
If that hole was a bit sharper, it would have gone in, wouldn't it? But guys, this is how we have lowered his handicap by 8 shots in 6 months. Huge thanks to the guys at 18 Birdies. Huge thanks to the guys at PXG. And if you've enjoyed that, please smash that subscribe button below. Next stop, level par.
Let's go.